car on the tracks with our family inside. Suddenly, there's a train coming. The car spins around and ends up near the woods. We'll check the occupants in just a minute. But first, this crash has caused danger for those around it. Watch what happens to the rear tire. The train rips it off and throws it down the tracks. We got an up-close view because that tire hit one of our cameras. Watch that again. The tire rolls alongside the train, bounces off the side, and barrels into our camera. Luckily, our camera operator was able to get out of the way. He wasn't hurt, but we were all pretty shaken. We had expected danger around the car, but no one predicted the danger down the tracks. Now let's go back to the crash site. We had Sergeant Dan Bates walk us through the aftermath. He does accident reconstruction with the New York State Police. We'll show you the car in a minute, but first, let's look over the train.
So, other than this mark right in this area here, which we know is the driver's side rear tire, where it imprinted into this portion of the train is virtually unscathed from any other damage.
The tire mark and some glass that can be brushed off. The only sign this train's been in a crash. The engineer would have had a terrible scare, but most likely wouldn't have been physically injured at all. The car, that's another story. The collision was of such force that paint from the train rubbed off on the car.
You have direct contact damage in this area and here, as well as up in this area here. You see the paint transfers. There's yellow paint from the train itself, which would match with the train.
And remember our family of crash test dummies? Dad driving, Mom in the front passenger seat, and an infant in a child's seat. These pictures are from a similar staged crash in Pittsburgh. Our family didn't fare much better. Barneveld rescue workers and Prospect Ambulance used our crash as a drill. They're trying to save our family. They have to almost take the car apart to get to them, but it may already be too late.
Anybody located on the driver's side of the car would have suffered the most severe injuries.
In fact, the driver's side where the train hit has been forced in. Most likely the driver would have been killed. Since the infant was belted in a child's seat, the side of the car might not have reached him, but the impact of the crash might have been lethal.
But the force itself may have been enough to cause very severe injuries or possibly a fatality.
The third member of our family may have survived. The front passenger side is almost completely intact. Our mom could have walked away. And keep in mind, everybody was belted in. Without a seatbelt, police say there's no way anyone would have made it. Now, our train wasn't going very fast, but most highway rail crashes happen when the train is traveling less than 30 miles per hour. And regardless of speed, if you get into a collision with a train, you are 30 times more likely to be killed than in a collision involving a car or a truck. By now, it's not hard to figure out why. The speed, the size. This train, smaller than most, weighs in at about 170 tons. The car, about 1 ton. Remember, when there's a tie at the crossing, the train will always win. These words when you come to a rail crossing. Look, listen, and live.